Welcome back to Foodie Legends. For this week's episode, we're featuring our most interesting foods in the chilly state of Alaska. We've got lots to cover about this interesting state today, but before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're always tuned in to our latest episodes. You don't want to miss out on all our most updated content and delicious filled videos. Alright, let's jump into this.
I'm hungry.
Alaska, or also known as the last frontier, is known to be the chilliest of the states as it sits cozy at the tip of the Western Hemisphere and within the Arctic Circle. Alaska is known to drop into negative temperatures during the coldest parts of the year, reaching lower than 38 degrees. And in some parts of Alaska, like the town of Barrow, they can go without seeing the sun for over 2 months. Can you believe that?
I'm so cold I can't feel my tushy.
Alaska is home to many indigenous people and tribes who settled the land over 10,000 years ago. The state became the 49th state in the Union only after purchasing the land from Russia in 1959. Now, one of the most interesting geographical areas of Alaska is the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait today is a shallow water area where we find mostly water and a few islands, but about 20,000 years ago, the Ice Age froze that region over, allowing both people and animals to migrate from Asia into North America. If you've ever watched that one popular Pixar movie, Ice Age, this is how the woolly mammoths were able to find their ways to the Americas. All in all, Alaska contains a rich natural history from rough weathers to resilient natives. Today, we're going to talk about how this lifestyle has shaped some of the most interesting and delicious foods of the Arctic.
So excited! So excited!
Coming in at number 1 is the Reindeer Sausage. For most of us, when we hear any talk about reindeers, we envision Santa Claus and his trusty crew pulling his sled through the night sky. While many of us don't come across reindeers in our everyday life, in Alaska, reindeers are actually a common farm animal. The legend goes that reindeers were brought over through Siberia in the 19th century in an attempt to create a new food industry for the native Alaskans, who at the time had been relying on whaling up until that point. But fast forward to modern day, though reindeer never became a main staple in the everyday Alaskan diet, it still made its way into one of the most favored dishes in the state. A reindeer sausage is made by mixing 1/3 beef, 1/3 pork, and of course 1/3 reindeer alongside a medley of spices. Because it's a considerably lean meat, it's often tastier to throw fattier game like beef or pork into the mix. And like any sausage, it can be smoked and eaten in a variety of ways like a hot dog or on a plate with some mash and greens. And of course a warm stew, which is a common way to cook in the everyday Alaskan household.
Interesting.
Next up, coming in at number 2 is the king salmon. For our outdoor lovers and adventurers, you know that Alaska is one of the most beautiful states to explore for snowy mountainous landscapes and beautiful blue waters. In fact, there are over 12,000 rivers in Alaska, making it one of the best places to fish and game in the world. During the summertime, between the months of May and September, the winter ice begins to thaw and so do the fish. For the locals, this is the time of year to bring out their nets, get on their boats, and get fishing in the waters. Now, it's no secret what the prize catch is during this time of year, that being the king salmon.
Long live the king.
The king earns his royal name from its sheer size and nutritional benefits. The king salmons are known to grow up to a whopping 100 pounds and have the highest amount of nutritional fat in compared to its sockeye and coho salmon cousins.
King sockeye, chum and pink, coho too. What do you think? Salmon swimming in the sea.
This fish is often the most expensive and tasty of the three. In the frosty state of Alaska, you'll find king salmon cooked in a variety of ways. However, a traditional way that Alaskans do this is to hang the fish in a smoke room with cold smoke from a preferred wood like beech wood or alder wood. Cold smoking the meat this way makes the final product a delicious bite full of natural flavors from the fresh salmon while adding notes of unique flavor from the wood. If you've ever had a lox bagel sandwich where the fish appears raw and uncooked but packs a powerful taste, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
So good.
Coming in at number 3 of our most interesting and amazing Alaskan foods is another member of the royal seafood family, the Alaskan king crab. Now, this crustacean is one that you may or may not have come across before. It is truly considered a food for the royalty, as it is one of the most expensive and hard to find seafoods on our list. These crabs can grow up to anywhere between 5 to 18 pounds and can cost a whopping $250 per pound. Meaning, if you wanted that big boy at the grocery store, it could cost you a pretty penny of $4,500. And that's just for one crab.
Damn!
I'm sorry.
The Alaskan king crab is known for its beautiful outer shell and superior soft texture of meat that comes from each leg. They are especially sweet and fatty in comparison to many of its other well-known crab cousins. If you have ever had the chance of getting your hands on one of these incredibly tasting crabs, Pierce will recommend you eat the crab meat in its plain form with no seasonings. However, it's also popular to enjoy crab with a bit of garlic butter or with a sprinkle of Cajun seasonings. In any case, you're sure to feel like a king or queen enjoying such a tasty delicacy from the Arctic.
It's delicious! Too delicious!
Next up, number 4. Emerging out of the chilly Alaskan waters holds a dish with a hilarious name, but may not be exactly what you expected. In the local town of Seward, Alaska, there's a popular restaurant named Thorne's Showcase Lounge that serves up a dish called the bucket of butt.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Yes, you heard that right. The bucket of butt stands for a bucket of halibut, a fish that is also an Alaskan favorite known for its dense texture and nutritionally packed flavor. At the Thorne's Showcase Lounge, where they serve up many Alaskan favorites, their bucket of butt keeps it simple with just fried halibut, a few slices of lemon, and a side of homemade tartar and ketchup. The point here is to highlight the fresh and fatty flavors that the Alaskan Arctic has to offer. If you're ever traveling through the town of Seward, Alaska, Thorne's Showcase Lounge is certainly a well-made stop. Now moving on to our next food feature from the Arctic waters inland is moose stew. In Alaska, where hunting, fishing, and foraging are very common amongst the local and native communities, moose hunting is considered an excellent way to keep the family fed during the winter months. As the ice begins to thicken again over the Arctic waters, this allows certain game like caribou and moose to migrate over the land. Landing one of these beautiful animals can provide enough meat to feed a family for months. Moose is considered a delicacy and a highly respected animal in Alaska. The texture is often compared to beef or bison, except with the gamier and distinctive sweet or floral taste due to the foods that a moose will eat from the natural land. In the Alaskan household, moose stew is often served up with a medley of carrots, potatoes, and seasonal foraged herbs.
Wow, 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 wow. Moose stew and bread. And my God, I've got it made. It's hot, it's steaming. It's a meal that won't quit.
But because moose is considered a wild game meat, it is not legal to be sold on the open market. So the only way to try this Alaskan delicacy is to travel directly to the Arctic state itself. Will you give it a try?
A moose!
A moose! Hot dog! Now do your stuff. I'll take care of the rest.
Coming in at number 6 is a local favorite utilizing all sorts of berries that can be foraged in the state. Berry cobbler pie. During the late summer, as the first frost begins to arrive, you'll see berries decorating the Alaskan landscape, covering from alpine slopes to the forest floors. While there are over 50 types of edible berries in the state, some of the most popular ones for cooking are the blueberry, cloudberry, cranberry, gooseberry, and blackberry. While each berry contains a super packed amount of nutrients and antioxidants for a healthy diet. Now when it comes to baking up a berry cobbler pie, there's really no rules to the whole thing. Some folks may prefer to stick to one berry for a focused and refined flavor, while others prefer a mix of 2 or more berries in a single pie for an exciting and creative endeavor. However you prefer your dessert, after a long day on the sleds, coming home to a slice of warm berry cobbler pie sounds like just the thing I need.
Berry, strawberry.
Last but not least, coming in at number 7, we've saved our most interesting and unique food specific to Alaska. Eskimo ice cream, or traditionally known as Akutaq ice cream.
Ice cream! Guess what I mean?
While the dish looks and sounds like a common favorite amongst us dessert lovers, there's one big difference hidden in the recipe. Can you guess what it is? It's animal fat.
What?
Now, before this makes your minds go wild, let's talk about actually how relevant and genius this dish is to the Alaskan natives. During the winter days, while the caribou and moose are roaming the land, it's common for hunters to be out in the Arctic searching for game for as long as a few days at a time. And considering extreme weathers like the negative 38 degrees, frost-biting winds, and whiteout snow conditions, at times it can be difficult to find food and source the essential fats needed for survival. This is where Eskimo ice cream can be both a saving grace and a delicious treat for the hard-working native. If you're ever visiting Alaska and feeling adventurous enough to live like a local, we highly recommend trying Eskimo ice cream as it carries much of Alaska's traditions and history in its amazing flavor. Thanks again for tuning in with us here at Foodie Legends for our latest episode. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a nice taste into the interesting foods that the Arctic state of Alaska has to offer. Before you go, be sure to like this video and click the subscribe button for more delicious content every week. See you guys on the next one.